Good evening and welcome to a special legislative session, September 25th, 2019. I'll officially call this meeting to order. I'll ask that everyone please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Cole. Aye. LaFountain.
Here.
Here. Metzler.
Here.
Moore.
Aye, or here? Here.
Used it, right? Yeah.
I think we have 5 members.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. There are no communications and announcements. I'll ask if there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on any matter. Seeing none, I'll ask if there's any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening. Again, seeing none. We do not have any minutes. I'll ask if any petitions have been received since the last time that we were together.
No.
Again, seeing none. We'll move to resolution by function, please.
Ordering demolition of unsafe structure and setting hearing for structure located at 124 Beacon Hills Drive South.
Moved.
Second.
Whereas Chapter 97 of the Town Code of the Town of Penfield sets forth procedures for assessing unsafe structures within the town. Whereas, pursuant to Section 97-2A of the Code, the Penfield Building and Zoning Administrator, Heidi Bohl, inspected the structure located in the town of Penfield at 124 Beacon Hills Drive, Penfield, New York. Whereas Ms. Bohl prepared a written report regarding unsafe conditions of the structure located at the property and has recommended the town board order the demolition and removal of the unsafe structure located at this address. Whereas the town board reviewed and considered the report and recommendations. Whereas the town board determined that in order to demolish and remove an unsafe structure located at this property, this would be a type 2 action pursuant to 6 NYCRR civil or criminal enforcement proceedings, whether administrative or judicial, including particular course of action specifically required to be undertaken pursuant to a judgment or order. Now, therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to Section 97-3A, the Town Board of Penfield finds the structure located at the property is unsafe and dangerous, and hereby orders the unsafe structure be and hereby be demolished based on the reasons set forth pursuant to the report and recommendations. 1, the description of the premises. This unsafe structure is a single-family residence located at 124 Beacon Hills Drive in Penfield. It's a 2-story, 1,500 square foot, one-family residence on .18 acres. 2, a statement of the particulars in which the building is unsafe or dangerous. The structure is unsafe and dangerous and has been previously posted not to be occupied due to its deteriorated condition. The structure has not been maintained, is significantly dilapidated, and was obviously abandoned a long time ago. The structure is not weather-tight and has a deteriorated roof with numerous openings. There are numerous instances of fallen drywall, water intrusion, and significant amounts of mold-like substance on the wall, ceiling, and floor, among other descriptions set forth. In order outlining the manner in which the building is to be made safe and secure or demolished and removed, the structure shall be demolished and removed in accordance with the following requirements. Site fencing to be placed around the demolition area. Utilities to be confirmed to be disconnected or de-energized. Demolition of house superstructure. Collapsed foundation walls on slab and punch slab. Complete backfill of foundation with section fill, topsoil, and seed. Controlled demolition is accomplished mechanically using a hydraulic excavator. Deadline for commencing demolition and completing work. The demolition and removal shall commence within 30 days of the service of notice required to be served herein. Neglect and refusal to comply. In the event of neglect or refusal to comply with the order of demolition and removal of the structure located on this property after being notified and after the hearing, the town board be and hereby is authorized to provide for demolition and removal of the structure and shall assess all expenses therefore against the land on which is located and institute a special proceeding to collect costs of demolition, including legal expenses. That is all, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you. I'll ask the board, is there any discussion on this particular matter?
I just wanted to commend Heidi, who's in the audience here tonight, our Code Enforcement Department head, for her work on this. It's been a long process that the law does not make any easier on municipalities, including Penfield. So I commend Heidi, in addition to all the other duties that she has as a department head, the time spent to inspect, update, monitor, ensure that proper steps have been followed, preparing a very thorough report for the board, along with the town attorney and staff. And I just want to highlight mention two factors within the report that stood out to me that I think is important for folks to know, that for several years now, both the owners and the financial lending institutions who had been responsible for this property once it went into foreclosure have repeatedly failed to act to rectify a litany of code violations. Damage to the structure has deteriorated to the point it can no longer be repaired and made safe. And additionally then, by ordering this demolition, this dangerous situation will be brought to a conclusion before it suffers an uncontrolled collapse, posing a public safety hazard to the citizens of Penfield. So thank you, Heidi, for your work and your staff. This has been a problem for this neighborhood and a problem for Penfield, and we are constrained by the law. We wish we could act quicker, but at this point in time, we are now able to finally, hopefully, bring this problem to a close.
Great, thank you, Paul, thank you. Other questions or comments?
Just real quickly, Mr. Supervisor, this resolution brings me back to the conversation that we've had in the past this year with these type of structures throughout the town. Fortunately, there's not a lot of them, but there are, whether it's foreclosed, abandoned, neglected properties. And this town has taken that matter very seriously. Mr. Supervisor, I know a couple months ago we passed an ordinance or a resolution here strengthening our resolve and strengthening our legal abilities to address these matters, and I think we've seen some success stories on that recently. There's a house at the corner of Jackson and Penfield Country Club, Jackson Extension and Penfield Country Club, or Jackson Road and Penfield Country Club, that is now has been refurbished and someone lives there. I know there's another house over by Penfield Presbyterian Church on Jackson Road that was pretty much vacant and abandoned for years, and now there is a family living there, and the house is being maintained both on the inside and the exterior. And so this matter is taken seriously by this town, and thanks to your leadership, Mr. Supervisor, I know a couple months ago we passed a resolution that allows us to be much stronger with banks and lending institutions that continually seem to fail to release the house from foreclosure or put it up for sale or maintain that property. Can you just kind of tell us a little bit about that action and what took place and where we are today that has led to this type of a resolution that we're voting on this evening?
Absolutely. So I will echo thanks to Heidi Bale and her team. There are a number of properties that we have been working with. This one probably one of the longest ones that we've been working with. And one of the first things that we look for is compliance. I mean, that's first and foremost. We try to bring properties into compliance. When that doesn't happen, then we get into a lot of discussions with a lot of people. Could be the owner could be the bank. And banks aren't always very quick to help us along that process. The resolution that we passed and the modifications that we made to the ordinance was with regards to Pro Champs. Pro Champs was brought in to help us go through to help streamline that process as best we can, to work with banks to get some either a letter of credit or bond in to start working to address some of these properties. We have gotten a number of those in. It's not all of them. We continue to work on that overall. But that was yet another tool for us to continue to go after those banks, property maintenance companies, owners, to get things cleaned up. This particular situation has really gone on a long time and has impacted this neighborhood for several years. And it's gotten to the point that it really is unsafe for next-door neighbors. When you start talking about black mold, you start talking about getting animals and critters into the structure, water. You have a roof collapsing into the second floor collapsing into a first floor. You really have a dangerous situation. So one of the things that we wanted to do is continue to progress with this. And this is an act that we have not really taken before, but other communities have had to result in doing this in order to clean up some properties. And this particular one definitely fits the bill for that. And one of the things that I know that this board really has been active in is getting these properties cleaned up, getting them taken care of, make sure that they're safe. And so by this action, we will be moving forward and we'll be looking to actually demo this building and taking care of the problem in the neighborhood. I think it'll also send a pretty important message to other organizations, banks and lending institutions that to let them know that we're not going to just sit back and time after time go through these roadblocks. If there is a problem, there's an issue, it's unsafe. We've identified it from a building standpoint, from a fire marshal standpoint, from a structural engineer standpoint, then we'll take action to have it removed and cleaned up.
Thank you.
Other discussions, other comments on this particular matter? Okay, seeing no further discussion, I would ask for a roll call vote of this resolution, please.
Cole. Aye. LaFountain.
Aye.
Metzler.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Great, thank you. This takes the next very important step in working towards demolition of this property. So again, thank you. This brings us to old business. Any old business to come before the board this evening? Seeing none, is there any new business to come before the board this evening? Again, seeing none, we are at our second public participation. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board on any matter? Okay, seeing none, and seeing no further business to come before the special legislative session of the town board, the Wednesday, September 25th meeting will stand adjourned at officially 7:17 p.m. We're going to take just a short break. We're going to move to the back of the room where we'll pick up on our regular work session agenda for this evening. And again, that will start up in about 2 minutes. Thank you very much for those that are here and being patient. Thank you to Penfield TV.